Guys, I just got back from well, maybe not just got back, but a few hours ago. I went really early, 6 in the morning, to maiden this um, FMS Rafale 64 millimeter, which I held off for a long time. I started buying all these other size planes and flying them, 70 millimeter Vipers. I got a 90 millimeter J10, all this stuff, and pretty much forgot about this little guy. My friend said I should have gotten the 80. Of course, yeah, the 80 would have been much better. But I got this just to toss around because our field is pretty terrible because it's just all grass. And the little strip we do have to take off from, it's very hard to land back on. It's only about maybe, I don't know, 3 feet wide, if that, maybe 4. But it's kind of hard to land on it. But I had a lot of fun. This is a great little 64 hand tosser. I mean, you can put gear on it. I have not used the gear. I had it on there to use it, but I ended up taking it off. I just ripped off right there. You could see the antenna got ripped off when landing it. But let's take a look inside. I know a lot of people, instead of just watching a plane fly, like to see how certain things are set up. This is pretty easy. You'll notice I have a wire coming out. That's for the voltage, because I'm using Radiomaster ELRS, which, by the way, guys, is amazing. I'm a Spectrum user, but I've been switching all my non-BNF planes, or not switching, but just using Radiomaster. I got the ER6, and ELRS has full telemetry. Signal quality, signal output, voltage, voltage to the battery, not single cell voltage, but full voltage. I'm sure you could work something out where it'll give you the average of each cell, but as long as you know the full voltage, you can set alarms and stuff like that. The great thing about using this setup here, I got a 6-channel ER6, and I used ChatGPT to help me with the antennas. I took a picture to see if this was good. I know ChatGPT gets a lot of things wrong, but it says it's fine as long as it's 90 degrees. It said the way I have it set up is fine. The only thing it told me is like it's over a bunch of wires, so that could cause an issue, but I didn't have any issues. And again, there's not a lot of space. I can't really go crazy. The only reason I did this because it's got a dual antenna. If you have a single antenna, usually people just throw it back there or just put it up against the wall here. I just tried to get a little fancy there. And as far as wires, you'll notice there's not a lot of wires. Absolutely none, besides this one here. And if you'll notice the receiver on the PWM pins, nothing. Now, for those of you that don't know why that is, I'll tell you. For those of you that know, you already know. I'm using S-Bus. So the S-Bus only requires one wire coming out of the receiver, which is this one, the black, red, and white one. So you don't have to convert one of your PWM pins to serial. It's got its own dedicated port, which is awesome. So it just goes in here and in here. I was having issues with it glitching out. Then I realized I had, I forgot what I had plugged into the PWM, which wasn't necessary. The moment I pulled it out, it started working. So the only time you're going to need to hook anything up here is if, for example, your plane has flaps, maybe reverse thrust. I don't know if the reverse thrust will work off the serial. I think the serial is just for the 4 channels. But anything extra will plug here. So you technically will have like other channels. The other planes that I have are only using the flaps. Trying to think what else besides flaps. But yeah, just the flap has been on there, but everything else has been just running through this wire. This plane loses a lot of weight in wires. So no wires here, no wires coming out of here and causing a big mess. Just still looks a little messy because these are just the extra lengths of the wires, but as you can see, pretty cool setup. So if you have a Radiomaster, definitely take advantage of the serial bus, especially if you're using if you're using a gyro, because that'll definitely really help. I know the gyro topic is a little touchy sometimes. The reason I use the gyro, because I'm going to be honest, it flies a lot better in the wind. It doesn't flop around as much. I can fly it without the gyro, but then it just looks stupid. I still want it to look cool. when it's flying with wind. So I use the gyro, and I also use the self-leveling mode, because there are differences, guys. In case you didn't know, some people think it's the same thing. Self-leveling and the regular gyro use is not the same. Self-leveling is exactly that. Self-levels a plane for people that you know, are pretty much just starting and just want to make sure they don't crash the plane. And then the other thing is the gains, right? You can put gains on it where it'll counteract the effects of the wind, you know, whether you want it to be mild or you know, you want it to pretty much have it locked in. But anyway, I use mine for hand launch. Once I hand launch, I shut it off, and it's just regular wind mitigation. And the plane flies beautifully with and without at all. You can switch it off if you want to. But that's pretty much it, man. This jet is awesome. The only issue was just that little antenna down here when I was landing on the grass got pulled off. But that's because I was just sliding it straight. But once I learned I could just pretty much point the nose up and not lose, you know, or not stall it. It just points right up, boop, just plops right down on the ground. Definitely recommend it, guys. I don't know why I waited so long to get this plane. I've been buying all these other huge planes that I can't really use on my field because the grass sucks. And just went back to this one. Just so I can have something to toss at the field without worrying about ripping up gear. That's it, guys. Stay tuned for a flight video. All right, this is not a maiden, guys. So I haven't had my daughter to film me. Here, get in close. See, this is where I have my battery. It's a Huvo 2200 milliamp, running a Radiomaster ER6, yeah, ER6 ELRS telemetry, battery telemetry, and obviously the Radiomaster T16S, which I always forget to turn on first.
Welcome to Edge TX. Switch warning. Flaps up. High rate. Gear down. Launch control off.
And I have launch control on here, so you don't need it for this plane actually, but
EDF off.
it makes for a successful launch.
Low rate. Telemetry.
And I have a pinched nerve, so I can't really put this around my neck because it's a neck. Damn it, I got grease on my glasses. So let me show you the launch control. If you look at the surface here, as I give throttle, it goes up just a tad. See, it's just a hair. When I'm off the throttle, it goes back down. But I can also switch it off once I'm in the air. Obviously, I don't want to cut throttle. It just goes right back down. All right, let's go test this.
No, you guys go upstairs at like 9:30, and then you'll fall asleep.
All right, come on.
I saw that flat fin.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
You good?
Mm-hmm.
I can fly it pretty slow.
No, not yet.
flies really slow. This is full throttle. Not that great. I had launch control still on, so that's why I was pointing up. Now, should fly a lot better.
You leaving?
So try to bring it in really low. Alright, I'm going to come in for a landing. Just bring it around, the air is blowing the other way. And there's a timber out there. Alright, ready? I'm going to land.